On the axes below, sketch the graph of y equals 3 sine x minus 2 for values of, that's interesting, values of theta between 0 and 360. I think that's a misprint on the paper. Don't get many of those through. I think that should be x between 0 and 360, since it's x in here and x here and not theta. Okay, so I'm going to start by just, as a guide, sketching on here sine x. Now you've got your calculator, but you should know these standard values. The sine of 0 is 0, and then the sine of 90 is 1, and the sine of 180 is 0, and the sine of 270 is negative 1, and the sine of 360 is 0. So that's one complete wave, and that's just a standard sine. So now let's move to 3 sine. So it's still going to be at 0, but here instead of being 1, it's going to be 3. We're just going to increase the amplitude. We'll be back to 0, and then it will be at negative 3, and then it will be here. And then the minus 2 is just going to move it down 2. So that's going to go to negative 2. That's going to go down to here. This will go to negative 2. This will go to negative 5. And back to 0, and then we've probably got enough to sketch it. We could put some intermediate points in if we want to get a really good result, but we should know roughly the shape of the sine. So the drawing I make is not particularly great. I usually need a few more intermediate points, but roughly that's it. And then the second part of the question talks about the modulus of 3 sine x minus 2 and saying it's between 0 and k. Well, let's think about the modulus of this. So if we were sketching the modulus graph, what would happen? It would follow any part of the curve that's above the axis, so just that bit. And then anything below reflects upwards. So that would go something like this. And down like so. Now, I haven't quite got that right, have I? Because that's negative 5, so it will reflect up to 5. So that's up there. So we can now see that the entire curve is actually trapped between here, remember it's the blue we're following, and the 0. And so we can say that that value of k is 5. Yeah, the entire curve is trapped between 0 and 5.